In the mountains and rivers of Mindanao, archaeologists uncovered something that changed history: hundreds of gold artifacts, older than any Spanish record, crafted with a skill equal to the world's greatest civilizations. This is the story of the Gold of Butuan, and how it proved that ancient Filipinos were never primitive, but part of a lost golden age. In the quiet city of Butuan, near the banks of the Agusan River, lies one of the most important archaeological sites in Southeast Asia. Beneath its soil, explorers have found gold ornaments, ceremonial masks, tools, and ancient boats, silent witnesses to a forgotten civilization that flourished over 1,000 years ago. For generations, this history was buried, not just underground, but beneath the colonial narrative that said civilization arrived with Spain. The truth, it was already here. Over 1,000 years ago, Butuan was one of the richest trading kingdoms in the Philippines. Chinese records from the Song dynasty mention a place called Butuan as early as the year 1001 AD, when its ruler sent an envoy to China carrying gifts of gold and pearls. The Chinese emperor recognized Butuan's king as a legitimate sovereign, an extraordinary honor that honestly, very few kingdoms received. That single record proves that by the 10th century, Butuan was already a thriving maritime power. Already and wealthy enough to trade directly with China, and sophisticated enough to build ships for long voyages. In the 1970s, during routine construction near the Agusan River, workers unearthed something unexpected: shimmering pieces of ancient gold jewelry buried deep in the earth. At first, locals thought it was treasure from legends, but when archaeologists arrived, they realized it was something far more significant: evidence of a complex gold-working civilization that predated colonization by centuries. Over the next few decades, hundreds of gold artifacts were uncovered across Butuan and nearby Surigao del Sur. Necklaces, earrings, diadems, belts, rings, armlets, each one crafted with astonishing precision. Some pieces weighed over a kilo, others were so thin and detailed, they could only have been made with advanced techniques like hammering filigree and granulation, skills shared by ancient goldsmiths in India and Southeast Asia. This became known as the Butuan Treasure, a golden window into the pre-colonial world. Among the most remarkable discoveries was the Golden Tara, a 21-carat gold statue of a female deity found by a Manobo woman named Bile Campos in 1917 near the Wawa River. Weighing nearly 4 pounds, the statue depicted a serene, cross-legged goddess wearing intricate jewelry and a crown, resembling Hindu-Buddhist deities like Tara or Prajnaparamita. Experts dated it to around the 13th or 14th century, long before the arrival of Islam or Christianity in the region. The Golden Tara suggests that Butuan, like much of Southeast Asia, was part of a vast cultural network connected to the Hindu-Buddhist kingdoms of Indonesia, Malaysia, and India. It proves that ancient Filipinos were not isolated, they were global citizens of their time, exchanging not only goods but also ideas and art. Butuan's glory wasn't just buried in gold, it was built on boats. In the late 1970s, archaeologists uncovered 9 ancient wooden vessels, now known as the Balangay Boats. Carbon dating placed them between the 10th and 13th centuries, the oldest known watercraft in the Philippines, and among the oldest in Asia. Each boat was large enough to carry 60 to 80 people, built from planks joined by wooden pegs instead of nails. These weren't rafts or fishing boats, they were trading ships capable of sailing the open sea. They connected Butuan to China, Champa, the Malay Peninsula, and beyond. These boats proved that Filipinos were already skilled shipbuilders, sailors, and navigators, long before colonization or Western technology. Today, one of these ancient vessels, the Balangay, stands proudly displayed at the National Museum, a silent reminder that the Philippines' seafaring history goes back 1,000 years. The Butuan artifacts discovered so far include gold funerary masks used in burial rituals, gold belts and diadems worn by nobility, gold bowls and ceremonial items for offerings, and fine jewelry that indicates a class of artisans and elites. What's remarkable is not just the quantity, but the quality. The craftsmanship equals that of ancient India, Cambodia, and Indonesia, regions famous for their gold cultures. Many pieces resemble those found in Java's Srivijaya Empire and Sumatra's Dharmasraya Kingdom. Chutbayan sa Diyo Spine Cloak. In these regions, this trade network, the Maritime Silk Road, linked Butuan directly to the great civilizations of Asia. Historians believe Butuan reached its peak between 1000 and 1200 AD when it controlled much of northern Mindanao and the Visayan Sea. It was so prosperous that foreign merchants referred to it as a kingdom of gold. Even Spanish explorers who arrived centuries later heard legends of Mindanao's gold. Antonio Pigafetta, chronicler of Magellan's voyage, described local chiefs adorned with golden ornaments from head to toe. Gold was not a symbol of greed in ancient Butuan, it was a symbol of life. It adorned the living and protected the dead. When a noble died, their bodies were sometimes covered with gold masks and plates, a practice meant to preserve their soul's purity. The Agusan image and the golden Tara, these remarkable artifacts reveal the religion of the ancients. The presence of Buddhist and Hindu iconography, like the golden Tara, shows that Butuan was, culturally advanced, religiously open, and spiritually rich. But these influences didn't mean Filipinos were colonized by India. Instead, they adapted foreign ideas into their own beliefs. Butuan spirituality probably blended ancestral worship, nature reverence, and imported Buddhist Hindu symbolism. It really was uniquely Filipino, open to the world, yet deeply rooted in its own land. This adaptability honestly explains why, centuries later, Filipinos could blend Catholicism with older traditions. It was just part of their cultural DNA. Modern metallurgical studies of the Butuan gold artifacts reveal that the gold was actually locally sourced from Mindanao's rivers and mountains. That means the Butuanans were not just traders, they were miners and metalworkers too. They knew how to extract, purify, and shape gold without any modern machines. Archaeologists even found tools like crucibles and tongs used in goldsmithing workshops, real, physical proof of an organized industry. The complexity of the designs shows division of labor and specialization, hallmarks of an advanced economy. So why did we forget Butuan? Because when the Spanish arrived in the 1500s, they saw Butuan only as a local polity, a village. They didn't understand its thousand-year legacy. Colonial narratives downplayed the achievements of Asian civilizations outside their own. And as Christianity spread, older artifacts like the Golden Tara were hidden or melted down, seen as idols. What survived were only fragments, enough to whisper the truth, but not enough to dominate the written record. Today, the Butuan gold collection, including the Golden Tara, masks, belts and jewelry, is split between museums in the Philippines, the United States, and private collections. The largest collection is displayed at the Ayala Museum in Manila, under the exhibit Gold of Ancestors. It features over 1,000 gold pieces unearthed from Butuan and Surigao, each one glowing under dim light like time capsules from a lost world. Standing before them, you realize something profound. These aren't just ornaments, they're evidence. Evidence that long before colonization, the Philippines already had wealth, artistry, and global respect. Modern Butuan is a peaceful city, but beneath its soil still lies much of the ancient kingdom waiting to be uncovered. Archaeologists continue to excavate new sites, using satellite mapping to locate more ship remains and trade centers. Locals take pride in their heritage, calling Butuan the city of Balangays. Every year, they celebrate the Balangay Festival, honoring their ancestors' seafaring legacy and reminding the nation that Filipino greatness didn't begin with colonization, it resurfaced from the ground where it had been buried. The gold of Butuan is more than treasure. It's truth. It tells us that the Philippines was never a blank page waiting for empire. It was a chapter of its own, written in gold and memory. Each artifact is a voice from the past, saying, "We were here. We built. We traded. We created beauty from our own hands." Spain may have built cathedrals and forts, but Butuan built ships, temples, and art long before them, with gold that still shines today. And when you look at that gold, gleaming across centuries, you see the reflection of something far more valuable, the brilliance of a people who were never lost, only forgotten.